Anybody in here love history? I love history. History Channel, I mean, I'm always going right to the History Channel, first thing in the morning. What's on? Right? My wife calls it the Hitler Channel because there's like a 25% that anytime I turn on the History Channel, it has something to do with Nazi Germany. But that's okay. I love everything to do with history. And I love everything to do with hospitality and tourism. So this next section is one of my favorite sections to teach. And it's called the Ages of Tourism. Because we go back, you know, we as human beings love to put things in categories. And so we've gone back over history and we've looked at the history of tourism and we basically have put them into categories, right? And think about, you know, regular categories in history, right? Stone Age, Iron Age, Bronze Age, Modern Age, etc., etc. Just as history's done that, we've done it for tourism. And so I'm going to go over some of those with you today, and we'll finish up on Thursday. So the first age of tourism begins at the very beginning. And when I say the very beginning, I'm talking about prehistoric man wandering the earth all the way up until, say, fairly recent. We call it the pre-industrial revolution. Okay? Is anybody here Phoenician? Have Phoenician blood in them? Phoenician background? Nobody? Well, if you do, you should be very proud of your ancestors. The Phoenicians were amazing people. They did some really cool things. Okay? Let's talk about where Phoenicia is located. Anybody know where Phoenicia is located? It's in the Mediterranean Sea. The big city, the area was concentrated around the city called Tyre, T-Y-R-E. You can look it up on a map. And if you know anything about that area, it's a challenge to live there. Even though you're on the Mediterranean, it's not easy to grow things other than olive trees. And so the Phoenicians were really challenged with making a living because all these other areas had really good agrarian societies where they grew what they ate. And the Phoenicians were very limited. Yes, they were pretty good fishermen, but they couldn't grow fruits and vegetables. And so they figured out really quick, we can't eat fish all our life. We've got to figure something out. And they came up with this concept that is revolutionary back then, but is second nature to us today, and that's called trading. Phoenicians also were builders of fine ships. And even to this day, if you go to Phoenicia, there's still people that craft fishing boats by hand, and some of the best boats in the world. So the Phoenicians did a couple things really good. They were great craftsmen. They built boats, and because they did a lot of fishing, they felt very comfortable. They were good sailors. And so someone smart said, look, we make really good things. We're good craftsmen. What if we took the things we make, put it on a boat, went across the Mediterranean, and maybe go to a place that grows a lot of things, but doesn't know how to make things? And we trade with them. Wouldn't that be a good move on our part? And they said, absolutely. That would be a great thing to do. So the Phoenicians really started world trade. Now, when I say this, I'm talking about Western civilization. Eastern civilization, there were things going on, but I'm a Western civilization guy. So we're talking about Western civilization right now. So the Phoenicians got up and started moving around. Now, you say, well, wait a minute, is that tourism? It absolutely is tourism. Business travel falls under that umbrella of tourism. Even though we don't typically think of it as tourism, if you travel for business or leisure reasons, you are still considered a tourist. Okay? So trade was their motivation. Now, something else came from the Phoenicians trading, and it's their greatest contribution to Western civilization. And what is that?
The alphabet.
The alphabet, right? You guys are using it right now, even as we speak, as you take notes. You're using the alphabet. And the reason the alphabet was created was not to make sure you can read your magazines or your USA Today. It had to do with trade. Think of this. What's your name?
Reagan.
Reagan. Reagan, I'm a sailor, and you've made these really nice chairs, and you come to me and you say, Scott, will you take these chairs and trade these over in Italy for me for some food? And I say, absolutely, Reagan. And you say, here are 6 chairs, go over there. So I get on my boat, I go to Italy, and I trade her chairs for cows, let's say. Cows, okay. So you come back and you say, okay, what do you got for me? And I said, well, I've got this 1 cow. And you say, well, wait a minute, I gave you 6 chairs. I should probably get like 2 or 3 cows, right? I'll say, no, you only gave me 2 chairs. And you're like, no, I remember it as 6 chairs. No, I remember it as 2 chairs, right? What's the problem? Memory, right? Reagan, can you tell me what you had for lunch 13 days ago?
No.
No. You just can't remember. And so you're like, I swear I gave him 6 chairs. And I'm like, she only gave me 2 chairs. So how do you solve that problem? You write it down. You say, okay, Scott, Sailor Scott, I'm giving you these 6 chairs. Let's write this down. Reagan gave Scott 6 chairs. He's going to trade it. That's where the alphabet comes in. It's a record-keeping device for trade. It just happened to grow and grow into what it is today. We use the alphabet for everything. But originally started as trade. So tourism contributed to the alphabet.